And the Kenya Private Sector Alliance is now placing blame squarely on the National Treasury for failing to establish a consistent and predictable tax framework. According to KEPSA, the lack of an institutional framework for proper fiscal policy development has made the Treasury the weakest link enabling retrogressive tax proposals to pass unchecked. Jimmy Mbogo reports on the recommendations from the private sector as preparations for the Finance Bill 2025 begin.
Implementing this new laws process.
Frequent changes to tax policy remains a top concern for the private sector. According to KEPSA Tax Director Steve Okoth, the inconsistency has driven businesses to shift operations from Kenya. He attributes the problem to Treasury's lack of capacity and institutional framework for fiscal policy development, which undermines business continuity, reduces revenue, and leads to closure.
That particular function is not properly resourced with the correct experienced experts. It is not a standing body that is working throughout the year, so it only works when there is a project like a budget or like an amendment of this sort. It should be a continuous body that has continuous consultation.
I think that fiscal policies are not merely technical instruments, but powerful tools that shape lives, livelihoods, and the nation's economic trajectory.
Steve Okoth also warns that more businesses could exit Kenya if the proposal to increase the tax rates on high-income earners is implemented. He argues that Kenya would benefit more by broadening the tax base rather than merely raising the tax rates.
Organizations run by these high-earning individuals, especially regional head offices, and these regional head offices of multinationals, they supervise business activities in multiple countries in Africa, but they are based in Nairobi. If you are going to tax the CEO of such an organization at 37%, then they are likely to shift the regional head office from Kenya to, let's say, Rwanda.
To ensure the Kenya Revenue Authority KRA targets remain realistic, KRA Chairperson Deito Mureithi has suggested the recalibration of revenue projection. He also plans to leverage on digitization to expand the tax base.
Is that many operators, whether individual or trading as a business name or in some other way, their income is comparable to the income of those who are salaried, for example, or even way higher than those who are salaried. The question is then, shouldn't these folks also contribute to tax?
As the budget-making process officially kicks off with the publication of the budget policy statement, the chair of the Finance and Planning Committee of the National Assembly, Kuria Kimani, has defended the need for progressive budget, arguing that it is the role of government to spur economic growth. But the question that remains unanswered is where will these additional funds come from at a time when Kenyans are already preparing for harsher economic times ahead? Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.